I just want to snap a really quick video for myself. I've been watching this channel on YouTube called Unassigned Vlog, and it's this lovely, lovely couple. I don't quite understand the whole story. I guess they were disfellowshipped in November because they were asking questions about the authority of the governing body because, like myself, they view Jesus as our only mediator and head between us and the Father, not men. And they were disfellowshipped for having these questions. And so I live in Wisconsin, and they were at the 2014 convention, regional convention at Miller Stadium in Milwaukee, and they built this Model T car that said Jehovah is God, Jesus is King, like the Cole Porter car. And I remember seeing it in the parking lot, but I didn't go up to them or anything. Like, I remember when I would go to conventions, I was always just exhausted and grumpy because I didn't have a good night's sleep, and probably I had an argument with my husband because we were running late, just lots of, yeah. And so when I would go to conventions, I would just be very in my shell, focused on taking notes so that I could get the new light. And when I hear myself talk, that's who I was for decades. Anyway, I'm watching their videos, and simultaneously I was trying to have a conversation with an active Jehovah's Witness this morning via text and just encourage them. But it seems like whenever I try to encourage, when I want to encourage a Jehovah's Witness, I want to tell them about Christian freedom and how Jesus said, take my yoke, for my yoke is light and kind, as opposed to the yoke that the Pharisees were putting on the people back in that day. And I just want to help Jehovah's Witnesses, but I guess I end up doing the opposite. And maybe that goes back to the old quote, misery loves company, because I know when I was a Jehovah's Witness, you'd have those happy, smiley people in the congregation that I could never relate to, and so I actually didn't gravitate towards those people. I wanted what they had, the happiness or whatever, but because I couldn't relate, it was what's that called when you have a chord and it doesn't harmonize? It was, yeah, I can't even speak. I'm drinking my coffee from one of my many church hopping rendezvous. They give you a welcome bag. It was pretty cool. I didn't go back to that church. It's fine. I just like going to churches to see what the pastor's dishing up at the church, because I was told for so long that everybody else's spiritual food was garbage. And I guess I just want to end this little segment by saying I had this thought, Allie, how does God view Jehovah's Witnesses? I'm not talking about the leadership or those who are controlling people, or perhaps, narcissistic elders. I'm talking about the majority. And I also did watch that video. Is your name Tiffany? Where she's Jehovah's Witnesses are not nice people. Everybody keeps saying, oh, they're so nice, they're so nice. Well, Jehovah's Witnesses are just people, and all people, you have your nice people, you have your mean people, you have your narcissists, and you have the whole spectrum in between. And in general, I think they are nice, but just you have, you go to the Humane Society, you go to the dog shelter, and you see these dogs in the cages who've been in cages for months, and you're walking around and you see this dog and you just want to free it, you just want to bring it home because it's not fair to let, I think, what time is it? Okay. You have, you just want to bring him home because it's not fair to have a dog live its life in a tiny little kennel. And so you go to just greet the dog, and it just, puts its fangs out and wants to rip your face off. Well, it's not because the dog is mean. It's because it's been put in this environment where it becomes that way. And I think it's true for people, whether it's, these Jehovah's Witnesses who've been in their kennel, in the Watchtower kennel, for years and years, sometimes decades, when they show their fangs and, bite you in the back and stab you in the throat and shun you or whatever, it's not because they're a mean person, it's because they're a product of their environment. And whereas I want to just adopt all the puppies and all the dogs and bring them home and let them enjoy life, experience Christian freedom, I can't because I don't want to have my hand bit off. Like, there's probably there's this proverb, a live dog is better than a dead lion. I'm paraphrasing it probably poorly, but the point being, like, stop trying to be a hero. This is getting way off track, but I guess I just wanted to say, like, watching this couple's videos, because they have these videos of when they took their road trip from North Dakota to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which I don't even know how many hours that was. I just was watching this video thinking, wow, these people worked so hard, for, I don't know, it's not even that they worked so hard for the organization. Of course, that's kind of how I perceive it now, looking back, that we were working hard for an organization, for this, this thing that we thought was important. But when you just work hard for the Lord, for God, you don't get the accolades and the recognition and all of that. And a lot of people are drawn to organizations because they like the recognition. And I don't think that's the case at all with this particular couple. But it was just really interesting watching their videos, because it took me back, because I was at that convention, and just remembering how I felt while I was there, how I feel now thinking back to how I felt while I was there. It's just kind of trippy. But ultimately, I just wanted to end with this message, especially for anybody else out there who's still a believer. And maybe you're thinking, oh, well, what do you believe? Like, what are all the specifics as far as, like, who do you believe is God? Who do you believe is Jesus? What do you believe their nature is? Like, are you a Trinitarian? What do you think about 144,000 versus other sheep? Like, all these little things about theology. Here's what I'm going to say about that. I don't believe salvation hinges on passing a theology exam. And when it comes to the huge diversity of Christians out there who believe in Jesus, when it comes down to the specifics of whether you believe Jesus is God, which I personally think is very important, but I wouldn't say I'm a Trinitarian, although I understand Trinitarians now. I believe in triunity. I believe the nature of the Son is God. I kind of like to nerd out now on, like, all the Hebrew root of words, and I guess what I'm saying is, when it comes to theology, that's secondary. And as a Jehovah's Witness, as a recovering Jehovah's Witness, that's, like, really hard to get over, is relationship over theology. And granting other people, in other words, when I meet another believer, is the first thing I want to know about that person what you believe, or do I want to know who you are? And just getting to know people as people. So I really want to thank all the new people making videos and just sharing their experiences, because it's super therapeutic. Not only to make videos, I feel it's therapeutic even when it's a jumbled mess, but to watch videos of other people just sharing themselves and sharing their stories. And we're just all so interconnected, and we don't even realize how connected we are. And it's just beautiful to think about. There's this mushroom. What time is it? There's this mushroom that grows, I guess, in Russia and Oregon. And I need to do some more research, though. I can put a link and tell you about this actual thing. I learned about it in one of my massage courses, and it was talking about how we're all interconnected. And what you see above ground is just a little mushroom. and you think, oh, that's one mushroom, but then when you go underneath the ground, it's just appendages of one huge organism. And that's how I view the human family, is we're all interconnected. One of my favorite movies, I think it's called Chance. Watch it. It's probably rated R, but whatever. But we're all interconnected, and what I do affects someone who I've never even met, and I don't even know it. But I'm going to go now and think about all that stuff. Bye.